One thing that's a bit different about the Juki TL series of sewing machines is that you have to perform maintenance on them in order to keep them in tip-top shape. Luckily, it's pretty fast and easy to do, and you'll feel proud when you take really good care of your sewing room sidekick. Follow along as I show you my regular maintenance routine in order to keep my machine purring like a kitten and performing at its absolute best. If I'm gonna give my machine a good thorough cleaning, the first thing I'm gonna do is just wipe it down with a damp cloth. And I like to start at the top and work my way down. And I'm doing this while I'm doing all of this maintenance while the machine is unplugged. And usually I take the thread off the back here because that gives me a lot more room. And it's really surprising just how much dust accumulates on this machine, even though I use it all the time. You know, thread and batting and all those things tend to kind of get it dusty over time. So I just give it a good wipe top to bottom. While I'm at it, I'm also gonna peel off this old tape that's been on here for I'm not sure how long, but I'm gonna peel this off because I'm gonna need it off anyways to remove the throat plate. And I think it's just a good idea to take care of your machine and peel off the old gunky stuff, and I'll give that a wipe while I'm at it, just to get rid of that. There we go. Okay. Now I'm ready to start actually cleaning out the interior part. If I'm just doing a quick cleaning, I'll pop open this bobbin area and I'll just go in with a little paintbrush. You could use any kind of a brush. Maybe your machine I'm sure came with one, but I like this one because it's bigger and fluffier and I find that it does the job faster, that's for sure. To start off with, I'll open the little hatch that covers up the bobbin area. And I'm sure it's too dark in there for you to see, and there's not really too much fluffiness because I did just clean my machine not that long ago. I probably should have waited, but there's like some fluffiness in here. So I'm going to use my little fluffy brush and I'm just going to dust those off of the bobbin area. So then I'll also take out the bobbin and I'll dust in around there as well. Okay, so that would be a really light dusting, but more often than not, if I'm gonna clean out this machine, I'll go from the top and I'll take off the throat plate. I would close that down, and then in order to remove this throat plate, you need to remove 2 screws. You need to undo 2 screws, and Juki gives you this little tool in order to do that, and it's fairly tedious, so I did all that before. And I'm just gonna last unscrew those 2 right there. Don't lose those screws, you'll be really sad if you did. And when you let go, it wants to pop up, and you can gently slide it off your machine. And here's where you're gonna find the stuff that you didn't know was in there. Here's what I found when I popped the top off of this one. So there's a little bit of weird fluffy fuzziness in here, some thread bits, and some chunks of things over here. It looks like, I don't know, bits of fabric, etc. So same thing, I'm just gonna use my fluffy brush and I'm going to sweep those right out of there. And I'm mostly trying to sweep from right to left, just to try and get it loose from wherever it's been hanging out. And then, when I'm done this, I'm gonna flip it over. The Juki has, it's not secret, but I don't think a lot of people knows about it, but it's got a compartment on the bottom of the machine. And if you flip your machine over gently, and then pull this out, you'll find, I promise, more fluffies in here. So that's another area that I'm going to brush out. Now that I've dislodged all the stuff with the fluffy brush, I've kind of made it come unstuck from the whatever parts it was sticking to, because it's probably oil and fluff mixed together. It means that fluffiness was actually sticking to the machine. So I've kind of loosened it all up, but it's still mostly inside the machine. So I'm gonna use this tool, which is an air inflator from Ryobi that I bought from Home Depot. And I have it because I'm a long armer and I use it on my long arm machine all the time. If you don't have one of these, it's not like you need it, you can just brush everything out. But I find it's really easy to just loosen everything up and then hit it with the air gun and everything's gonna come flying out of there. I'm sure you're not gonna be able to see this, but I'm gonna hit this with the gun just by pulling the trigger and it's gonna make stuff fly out of there. Then I'll flip over the machine and I'll do the same because right, so now I feel pretty confident that there's no more fluffies inside there, so I'm gonna close everything back up. Oh, and look, there's tons on this actual plate as well, so I'm just gonna clean that up and play with the gun. Now the bottom's sturdy. I'll just slide this in place. Put it back up. And then I'm gonna put that throat plate back on, which I'm sure will take me longer than you wanna watch. Next on the agenda is oiling the machine, which I think for some people is a bit intimidating, but it's pretty quick and easy. If you can, if you can put oil in a pan before you cook something, you can oil your machine. So my machine came with this little oil bottle, which is 0 stars, do not recommend. This will make a terrible mess. So I would recommend upgrading to a different type of a bottle. I have this one that I use with my long arm machine. It's got a metal spout on it that is retractable and a cover for the tip so it doesn't leak all over the place. And it makes it a lot easier to accurately drop the oil where you want with a pen-like bottle. And it depends on how often you use your machine as to how often you need to oil it. If you use it every day, you should oil it every day. Otherwise, they recommend that you oil it after about every 8 hours of sewing. There are 6 holes in which you need to place 1 or 2 drops of oil, and they come in pairs. So on the top, you need to put 1 drop of oil in each one of these 2 holes. Never mind these 2, if you look really closely, you can see that they've got threads in them, so that means that they're not for oiling. And over on this side, these 2 holes also need 1 or 2 drops of oil. So those 2 right there. And then on the bed of the machine, this one over here and this one over here also needs 1 to 2 drops of oil. All I need to do is unscrew the top of my pen and drop 1 or 2 drops of oil in each hole. So that's that one and that one. And then I'll repeat that process for the other holes. Whoops. There we go. And then on the bed of the machine, I dropped a little bit of oil there on the back. This is hard to do, when you're holding your camera and you're trying to do it at the same time. Okay, so I dropped a couple of little drops of oil on the bed of the machine. I'm just gonna wipe those up with a soft cloth. And then lastly, your bobbin area could use 1 little drop of oil in the hook area. And I like to do this with the needle in the down position. And because I unplugged the machine, I can't just push the needle up, needle down button. So I'm going to put the needle in the down position and then drop 1 little drop of oil. And that probably feels funny if if you don't have a long arm machine, but long armers do this every single day, maybe multiple times a day. So fear not, this is not going to cause oil to drip all over everything. It's just going to make everything work better. So Juki does provide a small amount of oil with your sewing machine, but if you need to find replacements, you can simply look it up in their manual or just look up sewing machine oil and buy a larger bottle and then decant it into something like this little pen, which I find so helpful for your daily or however often you're going to be doing your oiling. And there you have it. After just a few simple steps, my machine is ready for action. And if you liked this content, you'll definitely want to check out my video all about how I thread my machine. Because lots of people say that it's difficult to thread the Juki TL series of sewing machines, but I have a way of doing it that works for me 100% of the time without any tears or any frustration. So if that's ever been an issue for you, you'll definitely want to check it out. As always, I'm wishing you happy sewing, and I'll see you in the next video.